Hello, my name is Janetta, and today I will be presenting the lesson designed for 2 to 3 year old classroom. And the topic of the lesson is five senses: what I touch and what I feel. The lesson could be part of the social studies or science curriculum, and it's actually based on the prior learning unit, which was What About Me? During that learning unit, we learned with the children about parts of the body, parts of the face, and now it became a good foundation to start learning about our five senses. So I will begin my lesson with presenting the five senses chart that you can see over here, and I will start asking children about what they see on this chart. Most of the images on the chart should be already familiar to them because we have learned them last month, and I will be asking questions like, what is this part of the body? What is this part of the body? And I will be expecting that they will be able to tell me, this is an ear, this is an eye. And then I will proceed to complicate the question saying, what does the nose do? What does the hand do? What do we do with our mouth? And similar questions. For students who are not completely verbal yet, I would just design yes or no questions, and I would ask something, do we eat with our eye? And they would say no. Do we eat with our mouth? And I would expect them to say yes. So once the student identify how we explore our senses, I would summarize it by saying that we all have five senses, which is touching, smelling, seeing, eating, and tasting. And then I will invite students to sing a song with me that would go based on the tune I love to eat apples and bananas. And it would go something like this. I use my eyes, I can see the blue sky. I use my ears, I can hear the birdies. I use my nose, I can smell the muffins. I use my mouth, I can taste bananas. I use my hands, I can touch the bubbles. And really, the song can continue, and you can insert your own words as you like. And once you figure out what you want to sing, what objects, what words you want to put into the song, you can make it the length that you prefer, and then you can invite the children to sing it with you for the second time all together. After this introduction part, I would say to the children that today we will be exploring the sense of touch, and that we're using our hands and our fingers to touch different things, different textures. And I will introduce it through the book it's not a story book, it's more of a touch and feel book, and it's called Quack Quack. So this book, it's not new, but it's actually it has very bright, vivid images, and it has very large images. And also what I like about this book, that it kind of guides you through every picture, and you can, for example, on the first page it says, this little duckling has fluffy yellow feathers. Do they tickle when you rub your cheek against them? So I can invite the children one by one to come up to me and touch the duck's feathers, and the book is already guiding you to ask the questions and to hear different responses. So this is the rest of the book. Now there's a dog's ear that they can touch, and there is a pig which has a very smooth nose, and a rabbit with a furry tail, and a sheep. So this activity will probably take about 7 to 10 minutes. Since we only have 12 children in the classroom, I will try to have everyone to come up and experience different textures. If you don't have this particular book, there is also a lot of similar books from Baby Touch and Feel series. This one is called I Love You, but this is the same kind of scenario where you can touch different textures, and you can explain to the children what they are and ask them how they feel touching them. After we done with the circle time, I will invite children to the tables, and we will do a small group activity. I would divide children into two groups of 6, And I would be with one group and my assistant would be with the other group. And what we are going to create, it's called touch plate. So every children will create something that will, the final result will look like this. So what we need for this project is very simple. We really just need different types of fabric that I brought, from home. And all these fabrics, they're different to touch. One is a little like scratchy, rough. One is silk, one is wool, one is vinyl. First, I would just give children different fabrics. They can pass them over and they can, all touch them. And then we will cut their hands, from the construction paper. So they have, so again, to reinforce that their hands, their fingers is the way for us to touch things. And we will create, the touch plate with different fabric textures. And we will actually discuss how they feel like, and we will write descriptive words, smooth, rough, bumpy, and so on. So that would be my second activity. After we are done with the touch plate, we can actually go to our next activity, which would be decorating. So last lesson we learned letter I, and we can actually reinforce any letter by having a project done. So what I did, I printed the capital letter I on the worksheet, and I would give a worksheet like this to each child. What I'm going to offer for them to do is to decorate letter I in any way they see fit. So I will give them different plates with different materials. One plate has feathers, one plate has pom-poms. Since we are in fall, I would give them, fall leaves. And we will, of course, the teacher and teacher assistant will help them to glue whatever they prefer to decorate their letter I. So we can also use cotton balls, we can even use rice or some kind of a pasta. But what I would do, it would be, I would make it a very independent activity, because I would like to see which textures children prefer. Some of them can do all kinds of materials and try to decorate with all kinds of things they see in these plates, and some kids will only stick to cotton balls, let's say, or to leaves, and that's what they prefer to do. As they're doing this activity, there will be ongoing assessment and ongoing feedback provided by asking students, so how does this feel? Does it feel soft? Does it feel rough? Does it feel smooth? Why do you only want to do leaves? Maybe, you'd like to try something else, just to get them to experience different sensations as they touch different objects. At the end of the lesson, I will send the students on a scavenger hunt. And again, I will place strategically in the classroom different objects that again have different textures, various textures. For example, it could be like sandpaper letters. Like these letters, they actually, it's a sandpaper, so if you touch them, they feel very scratchy. Then the other subject could be like a beanie bags shapes. They not only they feel interesting, but they also make noise. So, and these and similar objects will be placed around the room, and I will ask them to go on a scavenger hunt. And when they find this object that they like, I would ask them to return to the rug. Once everybody returns to the rug with their objects, it will be a type of assessment for me to go in a circle and ask children, what did you find? Why did you pick this object? How does it feel like? What can you tell us? Does it make noise? Does it feel funny? Does it feel smooth? And again, kind of providing the same vocabulary that's age appropriate, but still new to them. So they can, next time when they feel something, they can actually use the vocabulary we learn and describe the object that they will, the new object that they will come across outside of school. And finally, at the very end, we can finish very nicely with another song, which I found, and I can play it for you so you can get an idea how it sounds like. But this song is about all 5 senses, which is nice. So it will kind of be a transition into the next lesson, which could be about a sense of smell or sense of taste. And this is how the song sounds like.
I have 2 eyes so I can see, and a nose
get the idea. So the song goes in a very nice, funny way through all the senses, and it again reinforces what we do with each of the part, like ears for hearing, our mouth for tasting, and so on. Also, just to mention, this lesson was designed with the child in mind. And this child is a 2-year-old Nicholas, who was part of my case study. And Nicholas has social-emotional issues. It's not clear where he has a separation anxiety disorder or whether he just happens to be a very, very sensitive child who takes a really long time to transition. It's been now several months. Nicholas came to us from another daycare, and he seems to be really sensitive about letting go his parents in the morning, and throughout the day he would remember about his parents and start crying. But we did find ways to keep him calm and involved academically, and that's to keep him busy and interested. And I feel like this activity that's focused on senses is really something that he can really benefit from, because he could redirect his attention from missing his mommy and daddy to actually touching things, experience things. And I do feel like this could be beneficial, not just for him, but for the whole class. Thank you so much.